Hello, friends. Welcome back. It's another episode of The Mindful CEO, where we are slaying the dragons of hustle culture, one mindful moment at a time. Hello, Aaron. How are
Let's do it
you?
more than one moment at a time. Can we get two? Can we get like a,
I think
okay.
that might be stretching it a little bit. That
Oh,
makes me
that may be the
uncomfortable.
function of
I'm a little
hustle culture,
uncomfortable.
trying to get more in the same space. It has to be one moment at a time.
I mean, I might need to do some more meditation if I try to squeeze more than one moment at a time.
It's a function of striving, of trying to get more, the anxiousness to get more than one moment. Um, and then the big paradox, of course, is that there is only one moment.
That's the only moment there
It's
is.
the only moment there is. There aren't many moments. There's just the moment, which is a sort of a mind-blowing idea.
It is.
Anyway, enough of that. Uh, More about this. So Shawn is our guest today. Shawn Kunkler I was on his podcast, I don't know, 3 months ago.
2, 3 months ago. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. It was delightful. Shawn and I met through that, and I thought he would be a great back to the roots. For those of
The
you that
roots.
don't know about Chris and my roots, Chris was my sponsor at K Dub in 2013. And I don't know, when did we start doing this? 2023, 2022?
Yeah, it's been 4 years.
Yeah.
2022.
And we got tired of there being no real conversations in real estate other than GCI volume and Lamborghini leaning. And we got tired of that. And so we started chatting as we do. And we thought, well, we're two middle-aged white guys. If we're talking, that's a podcast. That's where
That's what it is.
it's definitional. We have the constitutive elements of every podcast. So we just
That's
started
funny.
recording it. And we've evolved from just Chris and I to what are we up to now? Like 30 listeners a month, something like that. Some vast audience. We
Yeah,
don't know.
40, 40,
Some
50.
vast audience. And but we want to go back to the roots because Shawn was such a fun conversation. And I'm going to let you introduce yourself, Shawn. Tell people who you are, what you do, and let's get into it. We'll figure out where this conversation wants to go.
I love it. Similarly, I'm a podcast host. I host Realtor 180. Same thing. I saw this weird hustle culture and I love that quote. I'm going to steal it, the Lamborghini leaning. And I was like, that's not me. I recently heard a stat. There's 2.5 million agents, 1.7 did zero deals. And there's a gap, massive gap. And so that inspired me to do the podcast. I'm a full-time real estate agent. I'm a team lead of Homeward Associates out of San Francisco. And then more recently, created a deck called Ace Your Day. And it was genuinely inspired by that incredible, excruciating number of the 1.7 agents who didn't do a transaction.
Yeah, that's such a
Great.
big number.
Yeah, it's
Well,
crazy,
maybe
right?
let's start. Maybe that's a great place to start,
Yeah,
actually, because
good.
um, from where you sit, Shawn, why do you think 1.7 million agents didn't do a transaction?
Oof. This is my rant. I think the bar of entry for real estate is so low that most people trip over it to get in.
This is my man. This is why I love Shawn so much. I literally have two books where that's the leading thought in that book. There is no professional where the bar of entry is as low as real estate.
Yeah, and so my dad owned a tool and die company, and I grew up in the shop. Like I grew up sweeping floors and just doing hard work. And then eventually I did a tool and die apprenticeship. And
Mm.
with an apprenticeship, it's similar to any other apprenticeship. It was based on hours, and you had to do a certain amount of hours of very specialized tasks. And then you had to do classroom work. And so it was very complex and very hard. And I really genuinely wish our industry had something similar where you have to you guys mentioned at KW there was was a mentor not mentor. I can't remember the word you just used. Where you two
Mm.
met.
Oh,
Oh,
But
sponsor.
sponsor.
sponsor. Um, and I genuinely think if you're a new agent, you should really be obligated to attach yourself to a producing agent and literally walk in their footsteps and learn from them, understand the nuances of the business, and they're just it's just not it's wacky to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hang on, I'm gonna keep stopping you because this is my favorite rant. It's so much my favorite rant, Sean. I can't even tell you. I literally have books about this. I just said I'm going on a listing appointment for the first time in like forever, right? I do almost all just referrals and friends and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
this is a referral to me, but she's interviewing other agents, which I think is a great idea because you should. I mean, this is the most expensive. We're really going deep on real estate here, guys. Real estate is the most expensive, least performed, most emotional and legally complex transaction of anyone's life. Not one of the most, the most. You don't own anything more expensive than your house. There's no anyone in any tax bracket. The most expensive thing they own is their house. And we're going to click on a link on Zillow and get the agent that paid the most for the lead. That's how we're going to go to the brand new agent at the open house, the guy that's
Yeah.
sitting there because they don't have any other business. Did you just see? I
No.
censored fuck right there. That was unbelievable.
Oh, wow.
It's my
Why
show.
would you? Wow. Yeah.
Why would I do that?
Wow. I don't know.
It's the
I'm
patriarchy, man.
shocked.
I
I'm
am. You
shocked.
too.
Uh,
Y-
And people don't know. Consumers don't know. It's
They
all
don't know.
invisible to them, right? So anyone with 90 hours, Sean, you don't even know this, right? Do you know how many hours it takes to learn how to cut hair? To
I
get
should know
licensed
this.
to cut hair.
My sister was a hairstylist who went to school for it. I don't know, but
It's 1,000.
that's crazy.
It's 1,000 hours in all 50 states. It's 1,000 hours to learn how
That's
to get a
awesome.
license to cut hair, and they're going to charge $25. Now,
Yeah.
Chris and I don't use barbers
Yeah,
anymore.
you were
But
just pointing to your head
I
as you
know,
were
I know.
saying
I
that.
used to. I used to need someone, but $25. It takes 90 hours to learn how to sell $1 million house, and the
Yeah,
testing is the least effective, useful testing you could imagine. How many
I don't
rods are
even
in an
know how
acre,
many
Sean? That's the real
meats are in
question.
an acre.
Yeah, that's
Oh my
that's the
God.
real question that I get. So I am
Yeah.
so with you on this.
I think simultaneously, the within that, the to kind of go back to the earlier part of the question, is most people don't have sales skills either. And anytime somebody doesn't have a sales skill, the first thing they do is drop price, period. Because they don't have the negotiation skills or conversational skills, or they're out of pure desperation. And
Mhm.
so structurally, it's all wrong
Yeah,
Yeah.
and not set up for to really be a fiduciary for the client
Yeah. I love
is
that.
my honest thought on that. And I think I genuinely feel that it needs to change. It should be a college course. It should be an apprenticeship. It should be something structurally different where when you're handed your license, you feel like you actually did some work to get that thing, but you are actually set up to succeed for that client.
yeah.
I
So
feel like
with you.
there's yeah, I just maybe in the space of maybe it's that whole marketers ruin everything. I think Gary Vaynerchuk said that years ago, but you know, now with everybody having a YouTube channel and being an expert and a coach and a
Oh,
kind of I feel like our attention has skewed towards marketing and lead generation. So we've sort of forgotten the back end of professional skill. Like how do you
yeah.
actually have a conversation with the buyer or seller when they've overpriced their house and you need to sort of have a sophisticated, intelligent conversation to help them understand why that's a bad strategy.
Yeah.
But we don't do, we have so much of our attention is like, how do I get a lead? How do I get a lead that we don't spend time
Yeah.
developing our craft as a consultant
Well,
or a
even
fiduciary.
structurally, how do you then spend the time on the front end educating them on the actual market value
Yeah.
or where the market's trending so you actually price it correctly out of the gate so
Yeah.
then
Yeah,
they can ultimately get what they want, which is to sell their home. And I think you're right. I think we're in that hustle mindset where we're pacing way too far ahead and focused
Yeah.
on the wrong data points for the business and ultimately for that client.
Yeah. How would you teach? I have somebody in
yeah,
my life right now who's like they're like 19 and they're like I'm gonna get into real estate. That's easy. And I'm like, All right. Well, let's have a conversation about that. But how would you, what would like, give me a framework of what you would teach somebody who's 19 how to be successful in real estate? What are the high points?
Oof, that's such a complex question.
I know.
I
You have
have
to
a
give me the high
20 year
points
old.
because we could go like down into all kinds of minutia. Like, first they'd have to know blank and then they'd have to know
Yeah.
blank and
Yeah. So years and years ago, I used to teach martial arts, and for some reason, my brain always defaults to that because it organizes in my brain.
yeah.
And so I think if I were to coach or mentor a 19-year-old and really help them get up to speed, I would probably encourage them to have a really um, to really adhere to their calendar and their schedule and organize their schedule based on the day of the week, and then different days focused on different aspects of the business. And just I'm also self-taught, and so
Mhm.
I'm really fine with this is me speaking with from my style. Um, and this is how I did it is I broke down different days. On certain days I would focus more on learning the market. Other days I
Mm,
would learn on negotiating and communicating with clients. Other days I would focus on marketing and building out websites, and so I would do it based on day. So over the course of a month, I was hitting on all of these things. And so I would probably encourage that type of structure, but I think to reverse engineer it, it depends on the individual. Like, are they self-motivated? Are they like, what is their personality type? What is it that they need? Because while I, on one hand, say I'm a huge advocate of apprenticeships in college, I didn't go to college and I quit my apprenticeship before the end because I hated it. And so
nah,
I'm
yeah.
also simultaneously not that the person
It's a
who
paradox, Aaron.
does well in that format. I also have ADHD, so it makes it additionally more challenging. But
Well, I
I
What
think
would you
that's
do,
a,
Aaron?
I think it's on one hand, real estate attracts people like us,
Yeah.
high, either D's or I's, people that are driven, entrepreneurial.
yeah.
I don't predict my D is pretty
Independent.
high, right?
Yeah.
In the scope of my things, but we're all a little scattered, a little don't tell me what to do, you know.
100%.
It's so it attracts people like that.
Uh-huh.
But there is this space of um uh getting on a team of people that are going to support you in all that, like be able to rein you in when your mind starts trying to do 60 things at once, or
Yeah.
when I think a big piece of why people sell only two houses is for sure everything you said, all that stuff. They don't know what work to do, but then they also, for the vast majority of people that I've trained, they don't work.
But
They don't
that too.
actually work like 40 hours a week. And look, you're in a startup. If you're not ready to work 60 hours a week in a startup, and I'm Mr. Anti-hustle culture,
Yeah.
but in a startup situation to get a plane off the ground, you need extra power to
Yeah.
get airborne. You need that 10 into 1 out. You're bringing something into existence that doesn't exist. Yeah, you're going to need to do a significant amount of work. And that work is this is why I loved your cards because someone with ADD or someone who's don't tell me what to do or someone who's afraid of rejection, which all of us, every human being, no one is like, oh, reject me. I'm good. I'm fine. The work is actually getting out and meeting people.
100%.
And if you're not doing that for 50 hours a week, then you're not working. And I rarely meet people. It's funny. I don't know why I thought about this today, Chris. Oh, because of your 1,000 door program.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I used to go to the mall. You said it about the mall.
I
Don't go to the
did
mall.
say the mall,
You
yeah,
did.
which I don't advocate. I did not say go to the mall. I
I
said,
know, but I did. I went to the mall on multiple days and went through the food court with a survey
oh
about
wow,
first time home buyer stuff, where I
yeah,
collected names and phone numbers of people who filled out a survey.
fun,
I was like, hey, I'm doing a little survey about home buying in the Washington State area.
That's brilliant.
Do you know there's down payment assistance programs? Whatever. It's just three questions on a survey a way to collect
savage.
information. But
Yeah.
I couldn't, you know, get anyone to do that now at all. And all I do now is, referral business,
Uh,
but you got to do something to build that up, and
Yeah,
people don't.
yeah,
well,
And
I think simultaneously, I think somebody will do that, but then they're like, ah, it's not sexy.
it's definitely not sexy
Like, oh, this other guy's doing this. So then they go and do that.
for like
And
2 minutes.
for 2 minutes, and then they're like, oh, that's not sexy. Oh, so and so on Instagram's doing this. So then they go do that
mhm,
for 2 minutes. But it's like going to the gym, doing one curl, and then going, oh, I'm not getting any results. This is ridiculous. And then they go do one bench press. Ah, this doesn't work either. And they see the big dude doing some like weird stretch because he tore a muscle, and they're like, oh, let me try that because he looks successful. And then they walk out and go, that gym stuff doesn't work.
mm.
Right.
So good, yeah,
It's the same thing. It's what is it? 3 feet from gold.
yeah,
Is that the
yeah,
metaphor?
yeah, yeah,
You're digging a hole, and now you have 17 holes in your garden. So I
Yeah.
did FISBOs, I did expireds, I did some open houses. No, no, no,
yeah,
fucking
yeah,
drill.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's what's the I remember hearing a coach tell me this. He said, what's better to dig a well? One 100-foot well or
Right.
100 1-foot wells?
Exactly.
And it's the same. It's like
Yeah, right.
just
So,
pick one thing and just focus on that for long enough to get data points.
Yes.
Like,
yeah, so here, yeah, this is the great because I can hear a transition for those of you listening who aren't realtors. Like this, I can hear the transition. There's a transition here, which is, Aaron and Aaron, we'll talk about thinning the veil. I think there is something that if we could stop constantly looking outside of ourselves for answers, like, well, what are they doing? What are they doing?
yeah.
Um, and you start to listen for, um, that inner wisdom, like what am I good at? What do I enjoy? What would like you got to
Yes.
get to some space where you can be with yourself, and most don't. Where
Yeah.
especially if you have, uh, you know, attention, uh,
Yeah.
chemistry, you're like, let me look at all the things. But like,
Yeah.
the more you can get to mindful practices, the more you can start to sit with who you are, how this would work for you.
Yeah.
When you start to feel anxious and you want to jump to something else, you're like, hold on, I'm noticing that I'm wanting to jump to something else.
Yeah.
I think simultaneously asking honestly, and this is really hard, what am I really good at? And what am I
Yep.
really suck at? Like, what can I not do well? And I don't want to ever do it well. I just don't enjoy it. My brain's not wired like that. I don't find passion in it. And figure out how to delegate that stuff. But
Yep.
I genuinely think if you look at a pro athlete, any sport,
Yep.
there's a few core fundamental moves that they have to do with repetition. And I find I don't care what it is, whether it's real estate or baseball, there's those couple activities that you have to find absolute joy in doing over and over and over. It's similar to you hear like Steph Curry throws 10,000 free throws before he
Eh,
starts practice. He finds joy in every single one of those
Mm,
10,000.
mm.
And I think that hustle culture is it's like this scattered craziness, but they don't find that go back and find where that passion is and really figure out how to find the love within that one
Yeah.
thing and just go hard on the paint. And that's I think that's where it falls apart for most people.
This is so good, Sean, because Chris is going to be very happy. This connects the two things that Chris and I talk about. First of all, I don't know for a fact, I don't know Steph Curry at all. Okay. So we don't know anything about Steph Curry really as a fact. But I don't, one of the things I don't know is that he enjoys every one of those free throws. But what I do know is that he's connected to a future, Chris, that he's is gives him his life.
Yeah.
Kobe, any of the greats, any Tom Brady.
Identity. Yeah.
It's a world in which they're fulfilling on something that matters to them.
Yes.
So they don't, Kobe used to say it, I don't vote after, I don't negotiate with myself. Like
Yeah.
I'm at the gym, I'm not, it's just not a question about whether or not he's going to shoot it. Whether he likes it or not isn't even in,
The
doesn't, it's
conversation.
not a question he asks himself,
Yeah.
right? We're not asking ourselves, do we want to go to the gym in the morning? Because that answer is no. You ask yourself after you've gone to the gym, was that worth it?
Yeah.
You ask yourself after you've practiced and after you've hit the game winner, was all that practice worth it? That's when you ask. You don't ask before. And that's a function of having a future that you're out to fulfill. You've created something that matters to you, that you're emotionally connected to, that you've said, this is who I am. And then you're dealing with in a real way that people don't rise to the occasion. They sink to the level of their preparation.
Yeah.
Those free throws are Steph Curry does not, and this is now, so we now can get this more universal than just real estate. Um, Steph Curry doesn't operate better under pressure. He's more grounded. He operates better under pressure than the people around him
Mhm.
operate under pressure. Relatively speaking, he operates better under pressure, but he wouldn't choose frantic, chaotic, and pressured over calm, centered, and grounded. He would always operate calm, centered, and grounded. Anyone would. And he's prepared himself for that by taking a million fucking three-point shots.
It's
So
true.
he knows he can do it. So he's just calm about it. He's able to do that. And that's what meditation provides for people is a floor
Mm.
in which they're calm, centered, and grounded when things get chaotic. You know, that's the
Yeah.
space of meditation. That's what you're doing. You're preparing your brain so that, and it changes your brain above, even when you're not meditating, you've changed your actual brain. So it's all those things, Chris, that Sean's pointing to, that I think is so smart.
Yes. I agree. I love it. We've called it cathedral building. I mean, that thing about
Yes.
having Sean, you know this what is an allegory? What is it? A story? Just the guy walking down the road sees a dude chipping rock with a hammer and a chisel, and he's like, "Excuse me, sir, what are you doing?" And he's like, "Can't you see? I'm working. I'm chiseling rock." Aaron tells us much better. Do you want to pass the baton and you say it from the
No,
second
I
person?
want to pass it without. I want you to do it.
Okay, please. He's allowing me to exercise
Your
my
agency.
agency. Thank you. Yes. So the guy's like, whatever, dude. That guy was like so mad about stuff. He keeps walking down the road and meets another guy, kind of doing the same thing. He's got a hammer and a chisel, chipping stone, but this guy's kind of got his outfit put together, and he's being very methodical about how he's doing things. He says, "Excuse me, sir, what are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm a stonemason. I'm building something out of stone." And he's like, "Oh, okay, great, thanks." He continues down the road. He sees this third guy. Same thing. He's got a hammer and a chisel, but this guy's like, he's like dancing around the stone. This guy's like moving with effortless passion for like what he's doing, and he's like singing and whistling, and it's like this whole different experience. And he says, "Excuse me, sir, what are you doing?" He goes, "Oh, I'm building a cathedral." And you could just hear like this, the way someone relates to the work, like you're saying, Sean, like
Mm.
the making a call or learning a market or how do you talk to sellers, like your identity in
Yes.
how you show up to the work is going to impact how it feels for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even in the simplest, I get to go to the gym today versus I have to go to the gym today.
totally.
It's the words we use are incredibly important and more important than ones that we're using internally. Of, it's like you ask somebody, "Oh, what do you think of open houses?" Ugh. And it's like, great, I know exactly what you're going to say after this. I don't get
Yeah,
any
right.
leads. They suck. They're horrible. And then the other person you ask them and they're like, "Oh, it's amazing. I'm like this conductor and all these people are coming in and it's a great experience and it's an event." Yeah, I think the way in which we're thinking about these things or we're looking at the result that's downline absolutely frames it in our mind. It's
What
so
were some of the
incredibly
things,
important.
Sean, that helps you with like I hear mindfulness in that? I think like you couldn't get to a frame, an empowering frame about I get to do an open house today if you didn't have some mindful way to get there? Like, what things have you sort of done to work on your own mindfulness? How have you gotten to those
Yeah,
frames?
so I I think a couple ways is I think in which we're viewing failures, right? They're outcomes, and they're
Yeah.
generally outcomes we didn't get. They're not failures if you learn something.
Mhm.
And so with open houses, that's how I built my business and built it very aggressively fast. My
Mm.
first sale from meeting somebody at open house was for 2.5 cash. We closed in 7 days. My second
Nice.
sale was for 1.8. And these were people I met at open houses. And, I joke and I tell people I'm lucky, but I had to be in those open houses. I think, Aaron, you mentioned rejection, and it like really stung me a lot, even with a really strong sales background as I got into this. But then one day I sat down and I started looking at the numbers, and I don't remember who I heard it from, but if you have 100 leads and you have a 2 to 3% conversion rate, three is
Mhm.
pretty good, 3%. So that means mathematically you meet 100 people, two or three are buying a house.
That's right.
And so that means the remaining, let's say 98, those aren't failures. They're just data points because you
Yeah.
have to get those to get to the 2 to 3. And so what I started training myself to do is when I would meet somebody at an open house and they were cold, they wouldn't give me their information, they wouldn't engage in a conversation. When they left, I literally would celebrate. I would jump up and down and be like, "Thank you. Like, thanks for self-selecting. I'm now one closer to finding that 2 to 3."
That's right.
Like, "Oh my God, I'm
Mm.
so appreciative of you. Thank you so much. You didn't waste my time. I'm not following up with you 57 more times after this." Like, like I would literally celebrate that. And
Mm.
remembering those numbers, I think kept my head in the game. And so I would keep track of them. And
Mm.
I figured out that at an open house, I would get 2 to 3 names. And then
Yeah.
from after I collected about 2 to 3, I would have to collect about 20, 10 to 20. It really depends on the placement of the open house, which I also found stats within that. But let's say it's
Mm.
a 10. So
Yeah.
then I would meet 10 people, and then of the 10, only one would meet me for an in-office conversation.
Yeah.
And then of those, I would still have to collect more to actually get to a
Mm.
sale. And so I was just viewing it instead of failures,
Yeah.
but as collecting and editing, and
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
really put it in that mindset of but then I also just I would dress in really nice suits and I would make sure that I felt really good. I would drive there. I had an open house soundtrack and I would get myself pumped on the way. I would have a broom in my car and cleaning supplies, and I would get there early and clean up. I wanted the space to represent or show really well. And so I think it wasn't any one thing, but I was just very
Mm.
mindful of all the little things and paying attention to every little detail. And mind you, these were not my open houses. These were other
Yeah.
agents. So I was texting
Yeah.
them 30 minutes early saying, "Hey, I got there early. I cleaned up. I washed the windows. I did this. I fixed this. There
Awesome.
was a light bulb out. I ran to the hardware store next door. I took care of that for you." And then those
Yeah.
agents, I would send these reports that were so robust
Mhm.
and they had all the links to the other agent, every little detail that eventually this one agent who she alone was doing over 100 million. She one day was like, "Here's the spreadsheet to all my open houses. Most of her properties were in the multi-million dollar range." And she said, "Host whatever you want, just put your name down."
That's awesome.
And that's how I built my book of business.
I hear cathedral building in that. Like, every other, the first agent is grumbling and frustrated and angry that they're doing an open house. The second agent has a nice sign-in sheet and is kind of like showed up with signs. And then there's, Shawn, who's like cleaning stuff up and replacing light bulbs and like taking pride. And I hear identity in how that was for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool. I love that.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, and that's So I started this series, Sean. You don't know. I just started this with I'm an EXP agent, and there's a you know how there's the silos within the company. I'm sure Compass has these. Um, the LGBTQ community and the
Hmm.
whatever, all the different. So we have a Healthy Mind Collective, and um, as part of that, I started Monday morning mindful meditations, and they're
Great.
free for anyone. I'll send you the link, Sean, because they're for agents, anyone. It's just 30 minutes. Last week we did call reluctance,
Mm,
and this week we're doing this week we did financial stress and market instability,
mm,
and just mindful meditations that we can use for the actual things we experience, in the business. And it's just like that. You got to take that pause, that split second pause to deal with, what's happening and what's happening here and how it feels, and give it space so that you can get to that. Thank you for self-selecting.
yeah.
Because if you have it like a good idea, it won't work. If you have it like I'm supposed to, now you're putting icing on dog shit. You actually have to get authentically connected to that. And that is what a
Yeah.
pause is good for. I
Yeah.
got to handle one thing. I realize my son is traveling, and I got to get him one thing. But good.
What were you going to say, Sean? I saw you had a thought there. Did you remember?
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's to summarize what Aaron was sharing, it's how you're defining it
Yeah,
is all what it boils down to is, if you're defining going to the gym as a massive hurdle, then all of your language around it is going to be that, or going
Yeah.
to an open house, or losing that person that was never yours to start with. You just
yeah,
happen to bump into them randomly at an open house. It's, oh, they were supposed to be mine. Like, that's bull. Like, don't make
yeah,
up that
yeah, yeah.
story.
Right.
And I think the mindfulness, the meditation, the stepping back, detaching yourself from it a little bit, it frees you up to just do really good work. And I think I remember
Yeah.
this is so random. I was probably 19, maybe I was to my early 20s, and I recently moved to San Francisco, and I went to a dentist, and this dentist was so passionate about teeth, and it was infectious, and the office was beautiful, and there was like art on the walls. And I remember leaving there thinking, do I want to become a dentist? Because
Huh. Wow.
he was so passionate about it that
Mhm.
it it like impressed itself upon me that I was I'm like, do I want to be? And I was like, wait a second, I don't. I was just in that moment because he was just so excited about teeth. And I've never seen somebody so excited about teeth, similar to the stone carver. I
Right, right.
was
Yeah, right.
totally enthralled with
Yeah.
trying to perfectly carve that stone.
I think one of my bigger takeaways today in this conversation is our last episode Aaron and I did was on true confessions about not wanting, our relationship to
Oh yeah.
health, right? Fitness, health. And like I have empowering context for my life's work and my businesses and all that. But when it comes to my health, I'm like, I just don't really want to work that hard. I don't really care. But I do care. But right,
Mhm.
I do care. But I'm cynical and frustrated about the work I've put in over the years. And so I like an agent who hates open houses. I'm like, I gotta, lift weights or whatever. But I
Yeah.
can hear for myself that there is a um spending time in the space. Like there's a home gym behind me here, and the room next door. There's some good dumbbells, a good bench. Like there's stuff I could that if I sat there like you did for your open house, and I got there early and I vacuumed the gym floor and I
You got to pay the
dusted
gym
off the
tax.
weights and yeah, you just like, but I spent time developing like Steph Curry shooting free throws, like, or 3 pointers. I just spent time in the space and being like, I'm so grateful that I have this in my house. But I don't. I mostly just look at that room like, quit taunting me, quit judging me, quit whatever.
All right, Chris, I'm going to coach you on this one, if you don't
Yes.
mind.
Coach me.
So I don't know, I wish I knew the specific term. There's a Japanese term, but do two things. I've always had home gyms. And so one thing that I would highly recommend is go find a real badass pair of sneakers.
Ooh,
Like buy yourself
an excuse to go shopping. You got
buy
it.
yourself a
I will
really
take
cool
the
pair of
coaching.
sneakers. But then here's the rule. You can only put them on when you're going into the gym.
Ooh, I
You
love that.
only like that's your uniform for the gym. And then the other rule is, and this is super easy, go in there for 1 minute a day. So do the
Yeah,
ritual of
yeah.
putting on your shoes, go in there, literally 1 minute. It doesn't have to be 61 seconds, just 1 minute. And start building the habit of that.
Mm.
And to kind of back up, when as I shared earlier, I did my tool and die apprenticeship. Simultaneously, I had really bad asthma, hated working in factories, and so decided to get my personal training certificate and work at gyms. And so that was my pivot
Oh,
out of that space. So I've been
mm.
in the health and fitness for
Huh.
literally
Mm.
my entire life.
Kismet.
I've
Wow, I love it.
I've ran martial arts schools. I've worked at super high-end athletic clubs. And I share that because I recently fell off the wagon. And one of my good friends who I've known for 2 decades, he's also in his 50s. Him and his wife, they're professional bodybuilders, like winners.
Yeah, like, yeah.
And I was like, hey man, I'm on the struggle bus. Like I know what to do. I just can't get my ass in there. And
Mm.
so I literally hired him. So he comes over my house every Wednesday and kicks my ass. And so I would recommend that is
Nice.
find a coach that will literally come to you and teach you how to use your pieces. And the
Yeah.
crazy thing is having somebody watch over your shoulder, similar to like a mentorship program. He's
Hmm.
like, hey man, you're like twisting your wrist goofy on your right hand every single time on this. And I'm like, oh shit. Every single time I
Hmm.
work with him, he picks out one thing that I bet I've developed this goofy habit
Nice.
and I have a scotoma that I don't see it. And he's like, why are you doing that? Don't do that.
Don't do that.
And I think
That's great.
simultaneously, all of that applies back to real estate. And
Yeah.
it doesn't mean hustle more or work harder, but if you just spend that 1 minute
Yep.
doing that, if you spent 1 minute a day in your CRM,
Hmm.
that would be
Nice. Yeah.
365 minutes at the end of the year.
Yep.
With 365 minutes, do you think your CRM would change?
Uh-huh. Right.
Like
That's
it's
great.
impossible for it to not. It's impossible.
So good. I mean, those are Aaron, those are the, one mindful moment at a time. I mean, that is what that is, like to go into
Yeah,
my home gym
totally.
for 1 minute, one mindful moment,
Yeah.
or to go into your CRM for one mindful minute. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
That
great.
and that's the great thing about the cards. Let's just bring this right back to the cards.
Yeah.
It's a great way to wrap
Yeah.
this. That's the idea behind the cards, isn't it? Like, I don't know what to do. There's too much for me to do. I
Mhm.
know I could be doing something, but my brain is freezing because there's so much to do that
Yeah.
I wind up doing nothing.
Yeah, and so the Ace Your Day, the deck, there's like a deck of cards. There's 52 cards. And we actually figured out, Susie Adamson and I, who she's a business real estate coach, we figured out that 15 minutes is that Goldilocks zone. It's
Hmm.
it's short enough to get a result, but it's not so long where my ADHD kicks in and I'm like, oh, squirrel,
Yeah.
and I'm like checked out. And so instead of doing 1 minute in the gym, let's say it's 15 minutes, and you literally just draw a card. And some of them are to meditate, some of them are to write a handwritten note to a friend, a client, a vendor, and just give thanks or gratitude or a birthday card. And it's again, there's 52 little aspects of your business that if you were spending quality time in cycles, you can't not improve. You can't
Yeah,
not change. If you were to spend 15 minutes in the gym a day over the course of the year, it's impossible for your
Right.
body to not recomposition. It's impossible for you to
that's
stay
right.
static. It's an
Right.
absolute impossibility. And so and I love that you guys are huge proponents of not hustling and it's the opposite of hustling. It's focused work for a short duration of time to get the result.
Yeah.
That
So good. I love that. Well, if people want to learn
That's
more about your deck of
yeah.
cards, how do they get the deck of cards, or how do they learn about you, or how do they send you a referral, or all,
all
all
of
the
the good
things,
stuff,
all the
all of our
things.
favorite things. If you go to
Yep.
15-minute momentum, 3 words spelled out, you can learn more about the deck of cards. I'm not sure when this is dropping, but we're
It'll go next week.
releasing. Oh, perfect. We're releasing a deck on June 1st.
Right.
And so people can go and learn more about those. If you want to learn more about me and my business, it's homewardassociates.com.
Okay.
And that's pretty much where you can find me as well.
Got it. Great. Love it. So good. Well, Aaron,
It's
this was fun
awesome.
to go
Sean,
back
thank
to.
you. And it's
Yeah.
inspired me. Like I didn't really know what I could do with, I've always wanted to do cards and it's a handy tool. And I'm like, oh, I could definitely put together a deck of 52 mindful practices
Super
that
easy.
people could do. Breathing techniques would be one suit. Meditation themes could be another suit. I don't know, whatever. It's just you've kicked off my creativity in something that I've had on the back burner for a long time. And that's really,
Yeah.
why Chris and I started this show, and I'll just go back to that, is that, we like thinking about things and
Yeah.
we like, dealing with that kind of a world. And I really appreciate the opportunity to play with you like that and you being a part of that. I really did enjoy being on your show, Sean. I was all excited when Chris told me who the guest was today. So I appreciate
Nice.
your time and appreciate the work you do.
Thank
So
you.
good.
And if you want to chat about releasing your deck, let me know. I'm happy to share
Yeah,
the,
great. And
the
I'll
things that
send
I'm
you the
doing.
link and you can check out the Mindful Monday Morning Meditation
Please.
program. It's comes with an app and everything. It's cool.
Nice.
So
Hey, those of you listening, if you are a real estate agent, Aaron and I in June 25th, are going to launch our 8-week program called The Mindful Agent. You can go to themindfulceo.com/mindful agent, and you can get on the interest list there. So, everybody, thanks for hanging out with us. Shawn, thanks for joining us today. We'll catch y'all next time.